Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Zach, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that I get a lot of questions in the office. I talk with patients on a regular basis about this because it's something that's really important that I feel like not a lot of people know about, and that is the topic of air purifiers. And just thinking about air purifiers or the need for them, usually where air purifiers or air filters or things like that are marketed towards are people that have asthma and allergies and already have respiratory issues, but really honestly, everybody can benefit from and will benefit from an air purifier. And the reason for that is because indoor air quality is actually a lot worse than outdoor air quality. And there are quite a few things that affect outdoor air quality, and that changes on a regular basis. You actually probably have noticed, within the weather report that they'll mention the mold count, or they'll mention just, where the overall air quality is, and they'll tell you it's good, or, as it goes a little bit worse. Some people that live in, different parts of the country have seen and know a lot more about the air quality index, or the AQI. It's something that is going to be on the news quite often when there are forest fires or when there's a lot of smoke or a lot of particulate matter that's in the air, because those that are at risk are actually going to be needing to stay indoors and to have that air be cleaner. But knowing that air, the indoor air, is going to be something that we've got to be paying attention to. It's knowing what we've got to be paying attention to inside that tells us what we need for an air purifier, or what to look for in an air purifier as well. So what is in the air? We've got this awesome drawing of all kinds of different things that can be found indoors, and some of the things that are up here a lot of people know about already. Dust, and even the dust mites. I know a lot of people are allergic to those. In fact, I'm allergic to dust mites, so when there's a whole lot of dust, I'll start sneezing. In fact, years ago, I used to wake up in the morning and sneeze like 15 times. Had no idea why. I was just told, oh, you have allergies and just have to deal with it, and here's your box of tissues. But knowing that there's a lot of things that are just floating around in the air, to be able to pull those things out of the air is really important to just not only increase the quality of life, but just allow for your respiratory system to get a break from some of these different toxins. So what else is in the air aside from the dust and dust mites? There's a lot of pollen, there's a lot of mold spores, there's a lot of things that can be floating around that can create a lot of immune reaction, create a lot of inflammation. And to have something that pulls those out of the air is really, really important. So what do we look for in an air purifier? Usually what you're going to read about, or the first thing you hear about, are the types of filters that they have. And the filters are going to tell you how much stuff they can pull out of the air and what sizes of things they can pull out of the air. And with what we got on here, the nice magnifying glass telling you they're very, very small. So the type of filter you'll see the most often is a HEPA filter, HEPA, which stands for High Efficiency Particulate Air Filter. So HEPA filter, and it's the size that it can pull out is very, very small, the size of 0.3 microns. So to give you an idea of what size that is, or how small that is, the human hair is anywhere between 50 and 150 microns. So we're talking 0.3 microns, very, very small. So the things that can be pulled out of the air, all the way to that size, that small, it's things that are smaller than that can actually still go through a HEPA filter, and things like that are like the VOCs, the volatile organic chemicals. So there are some filters that are designed for people that have multiple chemical sensitivities to be able to pull the VOCs out, and different sources of VOCs like paint and new carpet, that new car smell. It's the chemicals that are in the air that affect us. So to be able to pull those out of the air, there are some brands that do the basic. They've got a charcoal filter and then a HEPA filter, and they'll pull the big stuff out of the air, like smoke and dust, and just getting all the big stuff. Even mold spores, they can be from 3 to 100 microns. They vary in all kinds of different sizes, but all bigger than what that HEPA filter is. So the problem with HEPA filters is that people don't change them often enough. And that's something that I can't emphasize enough, is that when you do get a decent air purifier and you do have a good HEPA filter, heck, even just on your furnace you should have a HEPA filter. Same thing with your furnace, you need to change those very often. So getting those filters changed out, whether the brand you pick is super cheap or very expensive one, it's all based on the filter. So whether it's a Germ Guardian, which I've got in my basement, or a Molecule, which I've got in the upstairs in my house, there's, the change in the cost is what they can catch out of the air and what they can break down. So knowing the brand really doesn't matter. Look at what they can break down, what they pull out of the air, and change those filters often, because the stuff that gets trapped in there, it can live in there and can get recirculated. So change the filters as often as you can. So knowing that what we're trying to pull out of the air, the size of the room also matters. So the smaller that the size it says on the filter means that it can only change the air in there every so often. So you want to try to get one that's going to change the air 3 to 4 times per hour. So knowing that there's a lot of bad stuff in the air inside, go out and do some research on some of those air purifiers, and you're just learning about some of the other things that are on our YouTube page. Go and check out the Wellness Way YouTube page and learn a whole bunch more about those VOCs and everything else that can cause some damage to our lungs and our respiratory system.